In a faraway land, nestled between towering mountains and vast forests, lay the kingdom of Alaris. It was a place of vibrant beauty, where the rivers sparkled like sapphires and the fields swayed with golden wheat. But what made Alaris truly unique was the abundance of magic that coursed through the land, gifting its people with wondrous abilities and enchanting its landscapes. At the heart of Alaris stood the grand capital city, Elarigia, with its gleaming towers and bustling streets. The city was a hub of magical activity, where wizards, sorcerers, and enchanters from all corners of the kingdom gathered to hone their skills and share their knowledge. In this city lived a young apprentice named Kale, who had dreams of becoming one of the greatest wizards in the kingdom. Kale had a unique talent for magic. Unlike most wizards who specialized in a single discipline, Kale had an affinity for all types of magic, elemental, illusionary, and even the rare and ancient art of summoning. However, his talent was both a blessing and a curse. While he could learn quickly, he often found himself overwhelmed by the sheer breadth of magic he wanted to master. One evening, as the sun set over Elarigia, Kale was practicing his elemental spells in the courtyard of the Grand Academy of Magic. He was attempting to create a small whirlwind, but it quickly grew out of control, sending books and scrolls flying in all directions. The headmaster of the academy, Archmage Valoria, appeared in a flash of light, her silver hair billowing behind her. "Kale, you must learn to focus," she admonished, waving her hand to dispel the whirlwind. "Magic is not just about raw power. It's about control and understanding." Kale nodded, feeling a mix of embarrassment and determination. "I'm sorry, Archmage Valoria. I'll work harder, I promise." Valoria's stern expression softened. "I know you will, Kale. You have great potential, but you must be patient. Magic is a journey, not a sprint." As Kale continued his studies at the academy, a sense of unease began to spread throughout Elarigia. Whispers of dark forces gathering in the mountains to the north reached the city, and rumors of shadowy creatures stalking the forests grew more frequent. The kingdom's borders were being tested, and the Council of Wizards convened to discuss how to address the growing threat. It was during one of these council meetings that Archmage Valoria received a message from an old friend, a hermit named Eldric, who lived in the northern wilderness. The message was brief but urgent: "The Shadow King has returned. Seek the Orb of Illumination." The council was in turmoil. The Shadow King was a name from ancient legend, a dark sorcerer who had once plunged Alaris into chaos before being defeated and sealed away. If he had returned, the entire kingdom was in grave danger. Valoria knew that only a small group could travel quickly enough to find the Orb of Illumination, a legendary artifact said to have the power to banish darkness. She selected a team of skilled wizards and warriors, and to Kale's surprise, she chose him to join them. "Are you sure I'm ready for this?" Kale asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. Valoria placed a hand on his shoulder. "Your journey has only just begun, Kale, but sometimes we must rise to meet the challenge before us. You have the heart of a true wizard. Now, go and prove it." Kale joined the expedition along with Mira, a skilled warrior with a keen sense of direction, Terran, a master of elemental magic, and Lyria, a healer with a deep connection to nature. Their journey took them across the kingdom, through dense forests and over rugged mountains, as they followed the clues left by Eldric. Along the way, they faced many trials. In the Darkwood Forest, they were ambushed by shadow creatures, beings of pure darkness that seemed immune to ordinary magic. It was Kale's ingenuity that saved them, using a burst of bright light to dispel the shadows and clear a path. In the Frost Peak Mountains, they encountered a tribe of frost giants who guarded the ancient pass leading to the Hermit's Cave. Kale negotiated with the giants, offering to help them solve a problem with a rogue ice elemental that was causing havoc in their territory. With Terran's elemental magic and Lyria's healing, they were able to pacify the elemental and earn the giants' trust. Finally, they reached Eldric's hermitage, where the old sage shared his knowledge of the Orb of Illumination. It was hidden deep within the Cave of Whispers, a place where the echoes of ancient voices could drive a person mad. Eldric warned them that the cave was heavily guarded by traps and illusions designed to protect the orb from falling into the wrong hands. As they ventured into the Cave of Whispers, Cale felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. He knew that the fate of Alaris depended on their success. With each step, the whispers grew louder, their voices weaving into a haunting chorus. But Cale remained focused, using his knowledge of illusion magic to guide the group through the maze-like cave. Deep within the cave, they finally found the Orb of Illumination. It was a radiant sphere that glowed with an inner light, casting a warm and comforting aura. However, their presence awakened the guardian of the orb, a massive stone golem that had been dormant for centuries. The battle with the golem was fierce. Mira and Terran used their combat skills to draw its attention, while Lyria healed their wounds. Cale knew he had to act quickly, using the orb's light to weaken the golem and break its enchantment. Drawing on all his magical knowledge, he created a beam of pure light that struck the golem's core, shattering its stone body. With the orb in hand, the group made their way back to Elarigia, where the council was waiting anxiously. The power of the Orb of Illumination was used to create a protective barrier around the kingdom, repelling the Shadow King's dark forces and restoring peace to Alaris. Cale returned to the Grand Academy of Magic, where he continued his studies, now with a greater sense of purpose and understanding. He knew that magic was not just about power, it was about responsibility and the willingness to protect others. And he knew that he would one day become one of the greatest wizards in the kingdom. But for now, he was content to learn, grow, and share his adventures with his friends, knowing that the magic of Alaris would continue to shine brightly, even in the darkest of times. Upon returning to Elarigia with the Orb of Illumination, Cale and his companions were hailed as heroes. The people cheered as they paraded through the streets, with Archmage Valoria leading the way. The Grand Academy of Magic hosted a grand feast in their honor, where wizards, warriors, and common folk gathered to celebrate the heroes who had saved their kingdom. Yet even in times of joy, a sense of caution lingered. The threat of the Shadow King was gone for now, but the kingdom's safety could never be taken for granted. Archmage Valoria knew that other dangers lurked beyond Elarigia's borders, and she asked Cale and his companions to remain vigilant. Cale took this responsibility to heart. In the weeks that followed, he resumed his studies, spending hours in the library learning about ancient magic and studying the histories of other kingdoms. He wanted to be prepared for any threat that might come their way. Meanwhile, Mira, Terran, and Lyria took on new roles within the academy. Mira became an instructor, teaching young warriors the art of swordsmanship. Terran, with his mastery of elemental magic, was invited to join the Council of Wizards. Lyria, with her deep connection to nature, began working with the city's healers, sharing her knowledge of herbal remedies and natural magic. One evening, as Cale was reading a dusty tome in the library, he noticed a faint glow coming from a hidden compartment in the bookcase. Curious, he pulled on a lever, and a secret door swung open, revealing a hidden chamber. Inside, he found an ancient scroll, written in a language he didn't recognize. He took the scroll to Archmage Valoria, who examined it carefully. "This is a map," she said, her eyes narrowing with interest. "It shows the location of the Well of Eternity, a source of ancient magic thought to be lost for centuries." Cale's curiosity was piqued. What could this mean? Is it possible the Well of Eternity still exists? Valoria nodded. "It's possible. If this map is accurate, it could lead us to one of the most powerful sources of magic in the world. However, we must be cautious. Such power could be dangerous if it falls into the wrong hands." Cale and his companions agreed to set out on a new quest, this time to find the Well of Eternity. They knew that their journey would be filled with challenges and dangers, but they were determined to prevent any malevolent force from claiming such a potent source of magic. Their journey took them to the farthest reaches of the kingdom, through dense forests and across treacherous mountains. Along the way, they encountered hostile creatures and rival wizards who also sought the power of the Well of Eternity. With the threat of Zorak neutralized, the group secured the Well of Eternity and returned to Elarigia. The map and the knowledge they had gained were presented to the Council of Wizards, who decided to seal off the well to prevent any further attempts to misuse its power. Cale and his companions returned to their roles within the academy, knowing that they had played a part in preserving the safety and magic of their kingdom. They also knew that more adventures awaited them, for the world was vast, and there were always new mysteries to explore and new dangers to face. Cale's journey to becoming one of the greatest wizards in the kingdom was far from over, but he was no longer the uncertain apprentice he once was. He had proven himself in battle, faced ancient evils, and protected the kingdom he loved. And as long as there was magic in the world, he would be ready to rise to the challenge, no matter where his journey might lead.